Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Nasria from class English Education A 2018, the 5th semester student. And now I'm going to explain the material that I learned in ESP or English for Specific Purpose course by Mr. Adisma. The first material is the origins of ESP. ESP is a learned-centered form of language learning used in a variety of fields. There are three main reasons for the emergence of ESP. The first is the demand of a brave new word. The end of the Second World War in 1945 led to the demand for an international language, which then the language of choice was English. The second is a revolution in linguistics. The purpose of linguistics is to describe the rules of use of English or grammar. The third is focus on the learner. New development in educational psychology have also contributed to the rise of ESP by emphasizing the importance of learners and their attitude to learning. The second material is the development of ESP. Since its inception in the 1960s, ESP has undergone 5 phases of development until now. The 5 phases are as follows. The first, the concept of spatial language register analysis. The aim of this analysis is to identify the grammatical and lexical feature of the register. The second is beyond the sentence rhetorical or whisper analysis. While the first stage of ESP focuses on the language at the sentence level, the second stage of development moves to the above sentence level. The third is target situation analysis. The aim of an ESP course is to enable learners to function adequately in the target situation. The fourth is skill and strategies. In material terms, this approach generally emphasizes reading and listening strategies. And the last is a learning-centered approach. The primary concern at ESP is not language use, but the main concern is with language learning. ESP is divided into 3 based on the general nature of specializations of students. They are EST, English for Science and Technology, EBE, English for Business and Economic, and ESS, English for Social Science. The third material is course design. Course design is basically step to provide a reasonable basis for the next process from syllabus design, material writing, classroom teaching, and evaluation. There are 6 main stages in its development. The first is classical or traditional grammar. This description is based on analysis of the role each word in the sentence plays. The second is structural linguistics. Grammar is described in terms of a syntagmatic structure that varies words within a structural framework, so that sentences with different meanings can be generated. The third is transformational generative TZ grammar. Noam Chomsky, 1957 work, had a profound and direct influence on the world of linguistics. First, he reaffirmed the idea that language is governed by rules. Second, he expanded the view of language to include the relationship between meaning and form. The fourth is language variation and register analysis. The use of language shows considerable variation. Varying one or more of these factors will have an impact on the other factors. The fifth is functional or national grammar. The second major part of language as communication that has influenced ESP is the functional or national concept of language description. Functions are concerned with social behavior and represent the intent of the speaker or writer. And the last is discourse rhetorical analysis. This development also have a major impact on ESP until now. Now the emphasis shifts to saying how meaning is generated between sentences. The fourth material is theories of learning. There are 6 theories. The first is behaviorism, learning as a habit formation. This theory says that learning is a mechanical process or habit formation, and each process solves strengthening stimulus response. The second is mentalism, thinking as rule-governed activity. Mentalism is that thinking must be governed by rules that allow the mind to handle the potentially infinite range of experiences it may encounter. The third is cognitive code, learners as thinking beings. The cognitive view requires learners to think and process actively, and then analyze situations in which the application of rules would be useful or appropriate. The fourth is the affective factor, learners as emotional beings. The relationship between the cognitive and emotional aspect of learning is one of the very important to a successful language learning experience. The fifth is learning and acquisition. Learning is a conscious process, while acquisition goes unnoticed. This reflects the view that for learning a second language, these two processes are likely to play a useful role. The sixth is a model for learning. A model for learning is something that refers to the strategies and methods used in learning. The next material is need analysis. What distinguishes ESP from general English is the awareness of a need. The first, target needs. Target needs is a general term, which in practice is more useful for looking at the target situation in terms of need, shortcomings, and wants. The second, gathering information about the needs of the target. Target need analysis involves more than simply identifying the linguistic feature of the target situation. What's often used to gather needs are interview, observation, data collection, and informal consultation with sponsor, student, and so on. The third is student needs. The last thing that needs to be considered is to analyze the need of student, namely by knowing what the student needs in the learning process. And the last material is approach to design course. The course design approach is the process by which raw data about the learning needs are integrated to produce an integrated set of teaching learning experience. The main purpose of which is to guide learners to a specific state of knowledge. The course design approach is divided into 3 main types. They are language-centered course design. It aims to illustrate the relationship between the target situation analysis and the ESP course content. Next, skill-centered course design. This aims to develop student ability to read in English. The skill-centered approach is based on 2 basic principles, namely basic theoretical hypothesis and pragmatic basis. And the last, a learning-centered approach. A learning-centered approach is also known as learner-centered learning, which is based on the principle that learning is determined entirely by students. And further conclusion is, ESP is an approach in teaching and using English for specific fields and studies in accordance with the needs of the field of science and the professional of the use of English. This is intended to prepare learners to use English, whether for academic, professional, or work environment purpose, and program design based on the needs analysis. So I think enough for me. Thanks for watching. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.